When we pulled up here about 20 minutes ago, a firefighter told us we had to stand back. The smoke is toxic. That's why I have a mask on right now. This entire parking lot is blocked off, and you can just see all of the smoke coming out of the building. There's multiple fire trucks here. Witnesses tell us it was a chaotic scene. They saw a car going 100 miles an hour down Portsmouth Boulevard with fire coming out the back before it crashed into this apartment building and exploded in flames.
The call came in at 10:12. Active shooter. We know that the shooter is dead. We don't know if police fired a shot or if the shooter killed themselves. It's unclear if the shooter is an employee at this time. We do not know.
It was an emotional night for A.J. Leach's family. His makeshift memorial zip-tied to this telephone pole. We spoke to several people in the neighborhood who told us they heard a series of gunshots last night. They talked to us off camera, and one man showed us where bullets grazed his fence. Here, and here. Remember about a month ago, the Canadian wildfires and how the smoke was blanketing New York City? That is what it looks like here at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. It is so thick in the sky. It just smells like a campfire. And as we were driving in today, we were about a mile away and you could just see that thick smoke. The fire is under control, but nowhere near out. Crews have been battling flames since 5:30 this evening. We're going on 6 hours now. They just brought in a second excavator to try and squash some of those flames. There's a ton of field games for kids and events for kids, but what better way to cool off than a train ride through the parking lot? They hear crashes here all the time. It's not unusual, but today was different. There was a woman crossing the street here in a mobility scooter when she was hit. Pieces of the sedan that were lodged in Twine's living room. You can see the bumper, license plate still attached. Twine tells me he's grateful no one was hurt. Hours before the crash, his 5-year-old daughter was asleep on the couch and then later moved to her bedroom. Sarah Merlot's attorney says she worked at the Sam's Circle Walmart for 3 years. The shooter was her supervisor, and she reported his disturbing behavior numerous times over a 2-year span. In September, Merlot filed a lawsuit stating the risk of being shot was not part of the job. It was so bad. We had zero visibility on the interstate. We had to pull off. We saw a lot of accidents. Very, very dangerous conditions tonight. Why and how does a 6-year-old little boy, a first grader, shoot his teacher on purpose? Right now, that boy is in police custody and his teacher is being treated here at Riverside Regional Medical Center with serious injuries. A source close to Newport News School District tells me she was shot in the chest. Police officers swarmed to Newport News Elementary School Friday after calls of an active shooter. The suspect, a 6-year-old boy.
This was not an accidental shooting.
Newport News Police Chief Steve Drew said during a joint news conference that the child pulled a handgun during an altercation with his teacher, ultimately wounding her. Other children were in the classroom at the time, but were not injured.
Today, our students got a lesson in gun violence.
I want to know where that firearm came from. What was the situation?
Groups of children escorted by plainclothes officers in bulletproof vests to their families after an hour-long lockdown. Tracy DeBrew rushed to Rich Neck Elementary to pick up her grandson when she heard the news.
Where did this child come from? We have to do something about this gun violence. It is taking over, now it's taking over our babies.
And this military mom who recently moved to the United States while her husband is stationed in Hampton Roads.
Let's do something. We've got a new governor now. Let's do something. Let's change it. You've got a beautiful country. You've got beautiful people. But what's the problem? Guns.
It's a dark day for Newport News. We're going to learn from this, and we're going to come back stronger.
Newport News police tell me at last check, the teacher has shown some improvement. This coming Monday, school is going to be canceled for Rich Neck Elementary students, and counseling services will be available. In Newport News, Michelle Wolf, 10 on your side. In every corner of Akia Boyd's home.
Eva didn't speak. She was nonverbal. So a lot of her eyes tells a lot of her personality.
Photos of her little girl she called Eva the Diva.
The diva that she was, the happy, light, the cool girl, the little bookworm, you know, and the distracted one who really doesn't care, but all attention is on her. So they speak volumes.
Eva died on New Year's Eve from complications from severe epilepsy.
She was 12. She would have been 13 a month later. Well, 27 days later.
The Boyd family purchased a special urn necklace for their oldest daughter, so Eva the Diva would always be with her. until last Friday.
I went to the gas station to get gas, got out, pumped my gas. I would say I got distracted for less than a minute. Got back in my car, and it was in the midst of, me picking my daughter up, I realized my purse was gone.
Akia's bag lifted from her car through an open passenger side window. In her bag, the necklace. Akia tells 10 on Your Side as soon as she realized what happened, she and her oldest daughter were devastated.
I felt like a piece was missing now.
She filed a police report and asked the gas station owner to see the surveillance video, which they wouldn't show without a police officer present. Now she's asking for your help. If you know who took the necklace or happened to find it,
please just give it back. It's okay, to give it back. No questions asked. They can put it in my mailbox. They can drop it on my doorstep. They can put it in an envelope and mail it to my house.
To the thief who stole her purse with Eva's ashes, take a good look.
That's who's in the urn. And just as bright as her smile is how much that means. What if it was you? What would you want somebody to do? If it was your sister or your mom or your daughter.
There's a gaping hole right here. The whole tire rod, the tire was flattened. All of this, the bumper was pushed up, but all the bumper was on the ground. As you see, it's completely cracked through here. The hood had to be pushed down.
It's been 5 months since a city trash truck sliced her car, and Siobhan Grant's 2007 BMW 328 is still damaged.
The driver was extremely apologetic. He came out, he explained that he was covering a shift and that he was just moving too fast.
Grant says the driver told her the city's insurance would cover repairs, and a police report was filed. After weeks of no response and reaching out to her city councilman, a third-party adjuster was sent to survey Grant's car. Then she received this letter stating the city of Norfolk has sovereign immunity and would not be paying for repairs.
I was extremely frustrated. I'm a single mom. I was just overwhelmed. This car is supposed to be my teenage daughter's car. If I hit your car right now, I would be liable. So it makes it seem like they can just do anything to our property, and I'm sure a lot of people are not aware of this.
10 on Your Side reached out to attorney Tim Anderson, who's familiar with cases like this. He explains the law dates back to the 11th Amendment, which states you can't sue the federal government.
If the government is performing a core function, a ministerial act, like picking up trash, then if they damage your property, you can't sue them. That's the law. There's not insurance companies that cover damages to the government, so they self-insure. So if the cities want to allow themselves to be sued for negligence, it's the taxpayers that are going to have to pay that.
Norfolk City Attorney's Office issued the following statement, saying in part, the investigation determined that the city's driver was actively picking up refuse at the time of the incident, and that therefore the city had immunity with respect to this claim and is not liable. At the end of the day, Grant may have to sell her car because Grant says her insurance premium would double if she filed a claim with them.
I'm just really disappointed at the city.
Now, from the station on your side, you're watching WAVY News 10.
Good Sunday morning. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Michelle Wolf in for Kiana Patterson. New this morning, for the past 2 weeks, some people have enjoyed and some have been annoyed by the hum of the periodic cicadas that are overrunning some parts of the country. The severe weather canceled day 3 of the Something in the Water Music Festival. 10 on Your Side's Raven Payne was covering that until the tornado blew through just to the north of her in the resort area. 10 on Your Side has been investigating the opioid epidemic and its impact on families right here in Hampton Roads. If you think your kids are too young to learn about drug abuse, think again. We already know Parker was charged on 8 counts of felony child neglect. We just learned from the report that those 8 charges come from each of the 8 bullets that endangered all 15 students in Abby Werner's first grade classroom. Recently learned this. The way the colors of fireworks show, it's all on the powder and how that's stacked up. I thought that was so cool.
I've got a graphic. I'll pull it up.
Ejaya Johnson was born on April 25th at Centera Norfolk General Hospital. Her grandfather was there that day and tells me he warned hospital staff that he feared for the infant's life. He did not believe his son or daughter-in-law were fit to be parents. He says his pleas were ignored. Perfect weather for some Easter egg hunts, right?
Hopefully. I was never very great at finding those. They always just kind of, wander their way around. So good weather for it, though.
My parents made it too easy. I'm an only child, so I would just run around and I'd get all the eggs and all the candy. Now to that breaking news. A man has died in Portsmouth after a shooting. It happened on Frederick Boulevard around 6:30 tonight. Kelly and Chuck Plaza have spent nearly a decade rehabbing possums, squirrels, and raccoons. They initially wanted to start a dog rescue. If you've got a taste for big city success in New York, you're going to pay for it, especially in rent. The average rent in Manhattan surpassed $5,000 a month in June for the first time in history. That is crazy.